welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at the books that I picked up this past week, which is New Comic Book Day, October 2nd. The first one, we have 4 issues to talk about. The first one might be a surprise, but it's the DC All-In Special. This is the latest, jumping on point for the new Absolute initiative that's going on. This is interesting. It's a 64-page comic book. For $4.99, I thought that's a decent enough buy-in to check it out. I also love the Dan Mora art that's in here in the I guess the Alpha story, but you get some great looking Dan Mora art. I guess this picks up from, what was it? The Absolute Power was like the latest company-wide initiative. I didn't read that. I've not read any new DC stuff since I ended with Death Metal. I read that, and then that was it. But I really was only reading stuff that was Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo as it was. So it's not like I'm really well versed in everything that's going on in the DC universe. Not that I necessarily care, unfortunately. But yeah, so I thought I'm gonna pick it up, see what it's all about. It's done in an interesting flip book style. So you read the main story, and then it meets at a story point in the middle, and then you go back and start again from the other side, and then it meets at the same point in the middle again. Which I thought that was interesting. That's a fun take. You see, the main story is what's going on with the heroes, and they get attacked by Darkseid, and then he rips open a portal to this new whatever this is, and then kind of ends with that in the middle, and then flip back, and then you see how that Darkseid came to be. It's a cool concept. I like that they split the art duties. It was Dan Mora on the main, like the Alpha side, and then the Darkseid, I guess Omega side of it is art by Wes Craig, and I think Wes Craig has a really fun style. And it fits this kind of darker, like a darker kind of world that where this Darkseid comes from. Is it interesting? Yes. Am I going to go all in? No. And I don't mean that to be. It's just I read this stuff and it's fun. I like these heroes. I like seeing new stories from them. But it's not enough to grab me to like I want to see everything that's going on. What I will say, I plan on doing is I will pick up the Absolute Batman book, because it's written by Scott Snyder. Got Nick Dragotta art, which is interesting. I'm all for checking out a new take on Batman. I guess the idea is that he doesn't have his riches, doesn't have the resources of that Bruce Wayne typically has. So I will check that out. This, I think if you're looking to jump on to DC Comics, this was a good jumping on point. It's just the question becomes, for me, it's like, do I really want to do that? And I don't. And I don't mean that to be like, oh, I don't care about DC Comics. I don't care about Marvel Comics. I just, it's what I've talked about before. They're not necessarily the things that really interest me in comic books right now. Like I said, I'll check out the Batman just to see what the new take on Batman is. But I can't see myself reading that ongoing. Maybe I'll read the first arc. I don't know. But if that's what you're looking for, if you want to jump back in, this is a good place to start. All right, so next up we'll do this one, which is more of the type of thing that I've been enjoying in comics, and it's the Deviant issue number 8. It's it's only 9 issues long. The next issue is the last issue. It is James Tynion and with art by Joshua Hickson, and I've talked about it before, I think in a previous video, but I really enjoyed this story. I think it's a really good kind of mystery that's going on, a horror mystery. It's all set around Christmas. There's some very gruesome images in the comic, but the art by Josh Hickson is so moody, and I think it fits the story well. But it's got a lot going for it. I think it has a really cool, simple, serial killer design that is appealing. It's less is more kind of approach. It's set at Christmas. It's the whole Christmas horror mashup that I find intriguing because it has the juxtaposition of happy jolly holidays, and then the for a lot of people the holidays are not a joyous time. But yeah, I really have enjoyed the story. I'm looking forward to see where it's going in the last issue. I don't want to say too much because it's it's best read by experiencing the issue to issue. But I do think it'll be a good read once it's collected. If horror's your kind of thing, it talks about a lot about identity, and how people come to terms with their identity, and some of the pitfalls and the challenges that they face as they navigate a world that was not necessarily very accepting. So I find all of that very interesting, and it's done well here. So definitely would recommend the Deviant to anybody who's looking for something like that. Yeah, they started. They came out. The first issue came out last year around this time. I feel like it came around the holidays, around in the fall sometime. And then I think they deliberately stretched it out to kind of have it so that the last issue would then hit again same time of year when that story is probably its most impactful. I found that when I was reading the other issues that came out like in the spring and I wasn't the mood wasn't as impactful, but I feel like if you read that around the holidays, I think it would be a more impactful read. So the last two issues I have are both from the Ghost Machine imprint from Image Comics. First one we're going to talk about is Redcoat number 6, written by Jeff Johns and art by Brian Hitch. This is the closeout to the first story arc. I've really been enjoying this comic book. It's the kind of fun comic booky adventure that I want to read. When you compared it to things like, when I say that I don't care necessarily a lot about current DC comics, it's just that I feel like I've read that kind of stuff before. It's talking about a multiverse. It's talking about a new universe. It's talking about doesn't say they're bad. Doesn't mean they're not good comics. It's just I feel like I've been there. And I enjoy the things that I have experienced so far. But, those are there. And do I need another one? I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about that later, guys. Later when I read Absolute Batman. But anyway, so Redcoat, it's just a fun historical kind of adventure. And it's got some supernatural, occult type elements in there. You've got historical figures peppered throughout. And it's a fun read. So, again, I imagine this will be collected soon in the first volume, and I'd recommend picking it up. It's just a lot of fun, and again, when you talk about what I want from comics, I just want a fun read, and that is what I got here. Comics can be a lot of different things. When I say like a fun read, this is a fun adventure read. The Deviant is a different type of story. To call it fun, I don't know that it's very fun, but it's very intriguing and interesting and thought provoking, and I really like that about that. So comics can be multiple things, but when it comes to action and adventure, I just want something that is kind of straightforward and fun, and that is Redcoat. So all right, so the last one we'll talk about is the new series that under the Ghost Machine imprint. It's called Hyde Street, and what I like that they're doing with the Ghost Machine stuff is they're releasing comics that kind of suit different genres. And I still haven't picked up Geiger, which feels like more of a science fiction-y stuff, and I guess Rook Exodus is science fiction-y as well. But I've not read either of those. I think I will eventually. Maybe once these are all collected, I will. But anyway, so Hyde Street is kind of the creepy horror corner of the Ghost Machine universe, and it was really interesting. I thought this was fun. I have to say I don't completely know what's going on in this first issue, but that's okay. That I was hooked, and I want to read the second issue. So that's it did its job. But the idea is that there is a place called Hyde Street, and there are these beings. You see one here in the form of a little Boy Scout. They're beings who are collecting deaths. Like they are there are certain, what it says is there's a certain type of people who is attracted to Hyde Street, and it's, you know, some not nice people. So what happens is these people walk near Hyde Street or come in that vicinity, and then one of these beings, like this Pranky, yeah. So he encounters this lady, and then slowly kind of gets in her ear, and he kills her. And then he gets rewarded. There's some kind of higher being who is rewarding them for collecting these deaths and ridding the earth of these not nice people. So you don't necessarily know why, because again, it's the first issue, and you don't need to know why. But then you are introduced to kind of like the main character is this guy with the X-ray specs, and he let's see, what was his name? Mr. X-ray. Mr. X-ray. Yeah, sorry. I should be better with names, but I'm not. It's a visual medium, and I look at it and I see, like, yeah, I know that the Boy Scout kid and the guy with the X-ray specs. But anyway, so you kind of learn about him and what his experiences are. He's another one of those beings, like Pranky, who is supposed to collect these deaths, and you get the idea that Pranky really enjoys his job, and Mr. X-ray does not necessarily enjoy his job. But you get a little bit about the history of Mr. X-ray as a flashback to 1966. He's an ad man. He's actually selling. He's responsible for selling all those kind of prank stuff to, you know, that you used to see in the comic book ads, like the X-ray specs, the you know, all that stuff that was just garbage, but it captured a kid's imagination. Like, oh, I want that. I want that. I want to get that. And it talks about how, you know, should we care that we're targeting kids unfairly? And Mr. X-ray says, nah, it's fine. But yeah, so then you kind of learn his history a little bit and how he becomes involved in this whatever is going on at Hyde Street. But yeah, I don't think I said it, but it's a Ivan Reyes Ivan Reyes art, and I love it. Ivan Reyes, inked by Danny Mickey. They're a great combo. Again, written by Jeff Johns. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I think it's really cool. I think I think it scratches that itch of looking for another kind of horror-ish. And this feels like a more where the Deviant feels like a very rated R kind of horror themed comic. This is more like a PG-13 horror themed comic, which is, you know, again, kind of fun. So yeah, definitely interested in this one. I will keep reading Hyde Street. So yeah, that'll mean I'll keep reading Redcoat and Hyde Street, and then once I'm sure I'll read the like I said, get the collected editions of Rook Exodus and Geiger. So maybe I'll be on the Ghost Machine train here soon. But what I might do is I might do, like, buy a couple of them, you know, month to month, and then maybe just read the other ones via trade. So anyway, that's all that I picked up this week. Next week we have, let's see, Scarlet, I think issue 5 comes out, and then the new issue of Transformers comes out, which is the new a two-issue arc drawn by Jason Howard. So that should be interesting. And yeah, anyway, thank you for watching this one, and I will see you soon.